Hi, I'm Holly Castora, a senior certified Iyengar yoga teacher, living and practicing in beautiful Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and today we're going to practice the Supta Padangusthasana cycle, or at least part of it, the first two parts, with traction. Okay? So my cats may make an appearance. Let's hope they don't knock over the iPad. Let's begin. So if you don't have a long belt to use, like I do here, for the traction belt that's going to go at the top of one of your thighs, across the space between your two legs, and then around your heel, what you can do is just take two regular belts and loop them together. And then if you don't have a third belt, you can use any household object, like a scarf or a tie, that works for you. So first we're going to do this without the belts, okay? That's also an option. You don't need to have belts. So see how I'm coming down onto my elbows, and then I'm adjusting myself by looking at the mat and seeing that my hips aren't shifted over to one side of the mat or the other, and I'm using my hands to move the flesh of my buttocks back and out to the sides, and then I take my elbows forward, press my forearms down, and bring my trunk down onto the floor. And I want you to see how I'm not lifting my lower back up away from the floor or pushing it down into the floor. I'm feeling for the middle of my sacrum, that sort of sacral band region, to be what's down on the floor. And then from here, I'm going to press the top of my upper arm bones out to the sides and down towards the floor. And with an exhalation, and without tilting my pelvis backward, I bring my hands and interlace them around the back of my knee. Now see how I press my thigh into my hands, bring my heel down, so you can see that my upper leg is just quite off, a little bit off from perpendicular to the floor. And then with an exhalation, I turn my left leg in and extend my left leg out in front of me. And I'm pressing the upper thigh near the upper part of the hamstring down into the floor and the inside. And simultaneously, I press my thigh, my right thigh, into my hands, my left thigh down, so that I feel my spine move up towards my head, not down. In and up, like you would for Dandasana. And then I change the interlace of my fingers around the leg, so I'm not doing the same interlace each time. I bring my knee away from me. See how I'm pressing that thigh near my knee into my hands. I press my right outer hip down to the floor, turn my right front thigh in, and bring my right inner upper thigh down to the floor. And as I press my right inner upper thigh down and my left thigh near my knee forward into my hands, I'm pulling my spine up from my pelvis up towards my head. Okay? And then I bend my right knee, release my left leg, and then I take that traction belt. So I'm going to take this belt and place it on my right upper leg so that the buckle is near my right outer hip, and then it's in my left foot, around my left foot at the level of my heel. And I want that belt buckle to move my outer right hip away from my right shoulder, and when I press my left heel into the belt, I can feel my right femur get pulled backward, away from the quadriceps and towards the hamstrings. And then I feel a separation here between my pelvis and my thigh. And that's going to become even more pronounced as I take the belt onto the heel of my right foot, and I want you to see that I'm pulling down more with my right hand and pressing up more with my inner right heel. And as you can see, the balls of my toes are up a little bit higher than my heel. So there's a few different places you can try this belt. You can try it on the back of the heel, the center of the heel, the front of the heel, right at the back of the arch. You can try the center of the arch. See how I'm keeping the toes up a little bit higher than the heel? You can try it right at the balls of the toes. You just have to press up a little more. And again, I'm pressing my left inner upper thigh down towards the floor. Okay. And then I take the belt off, loosen it up just a little bit. I flip it over so that now it's pulling that left outer hip away from my shoulder, and also when I press my right heel forward, I feel the belt pulling my left femur back in the socket. Okay. Then I'm going to take the belt around my left heel, bring my knee up so it's over my hip, and then press the front of my thigh towards the back of my thigh as I bring my foot forward. My ankle and my foot forward. So I'm not just taking the leg up by lifting the top leg up by lifting the hamstrings up. On the bottom leg, I'm keeping those hamstrings pulled up towards my hip, but also pressed down towards the floor. And again, you can try the belt closer to the back of the heel. The center of the heel, the front of the heel, the center of the arch of the foot, the balls of the toes. But what's important is that you keep these hamstrings on this leg that's down on the floor opening out, Gita would say, and that means that they're touching the floor. Look at Guruji's leg in Light on Yoga, even though he's holding his big toe. How his hamstrings are touching the floor. And then I bend my knee, take my foot out, my other foot out, I flip the belt over so that now it's going to be, the buckle will be right at my outer right hip again and on my left heel. And now this time I'm going to do the bent knee stage first, where I take my hand to my outer knee and I press that outer knee into my hand. And then I reach for that outer knee with my hand. I pull my outer knee down towards the floor, while keeping my pubis turning to the left. I bring my outer right knee down in line with my right hip. And then I bring that right leg back up by using my hand. Take my foot out from the belt. Put the belt around the right heel. Left hip. Gonna back up a little bit so you can see how I'm not letting my right leg turn out. And I'm keeping that right thigh close to the floor as I press my outer left knee into my left hand. I turn my pubis to the right and press my upper thigh as close to the floor as I can get it. Now this is more challenging for me on this side, so I like to keep my elbow on the floor. And see how I'm not letting my heel go below my knee. I'm keeping my heel up in line with my knee in the same plane of space. Keeping that upper left thigh, right thigh, as close to the floor as I can get it. Okay, so there's a big discrepancy between the left side and the right side. So now I'm going to practice with a blanket in part 2 of our video.